Thank you. Mr. Whitaker, did your watchdog organization ever receive contributions from foreign donors?
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
I'd ask you to stop the clock.
Now, gentleman will suspend. The gentleman will state his point of order.
My point of order, and I'm going to go back to this, and would, again, undoubtedly the majority does not care, but this is outside the scope of this hearing. This was not while he was employed here, and whether he outside had donors or not during the time he was not employed, making no connection either way is not inside the scope of this hearing. And that's not the call of this committee. Now, and you know, look, I'm outgunned over here. I have no votes. This is not part of the call of the hearing. Ms. Swallwell, there's plenty of things to do. Ms. Cicilline, you
Will
can
the gentleman yield?
Mr. Collins, if you want to sit down there with his lawyers, you can go sit down there, but you're not his lawyer.
Gentleman will suspend.
And neither are you, Mr. Swallwell. And if you ask questions that are actually part of this instead of running for president down there, we could get this done.
You can sit down there. There's room.
Both gentlemen will suspend.
Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman has stated a point of order. The chair will rule the point of order is not well taken. The scope of people's questioning, we afford a wide latitude, and we don't even know where it's going at this point. The gentleman's point of order is not well taken. The gentleman will resume.
Appeal the ruling of the chair.
The gentleman appealed the ruling of the chair. The gentlelady moved to table. Move to table is not debatable. The clerk will call the roll on the motion to table.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, let's call the roll. All in favor of tabling the resolution. I'm sorry. All in favor of tabling the appeal of the ruling of the chair will say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Nay. The ayes have it. The appeal, the motion is tabled. The gentleman will continue.
Mr. Whitaker, did your organization have foreign contributions?
Just to be clear, are you
yes
talking
or
about, no? What do you mean by my organization?
You led an organization called FACT. Did it receive foreign contributions while you were there?
I don't actually know the answer to that. I do not believe, as I sit here today, that it did, but our main donor was a group that was a U.S. entity.
Did you interview with Don McGahn in July 2017 to have the job that Ty Cobb would ultimately get?
I ultimately did not meet with Mr. McGahn, so I met with.
Did you talk with him on the phone?
You know, we actually never did end up talking on the phone either.
Who did you meet with on his staff?
I talked to Annie Donaldson from his staff, who was his chief of staff at the time.
And when you talked to Mr. McGahn's chief of staff, did you express in that conversation your prior views about the Mueller investigation?
No, I did not.
Was it brought up by the chief of staff?
In fact, at the time, Congressman, everyone at the White House did not want to talk about the special counsel's investigation.
But you were interviewing for a job that would respond to the special counsel's investigation, is that right?
At the time, I was interviewing for the position that was ultimately occupied by Ty Cobb.
But I want to understand how you could interview for a job that would respond to the special counsel investigation, but you were not to talk at all about the special counsel investigation. How would they know?
Well, I said we didn't talk about it. They did not want to talk about the investigation because the folks were dealing with that investigation, and that's why they wanted to bring in someone that had been unrelated to the investigation and the campaign.
Did they talk to you about your prior opinions about the Mueller investigation?
No, we did not discuss it. We discussed about my background as a United States attorney and my legal practice.
Has there been discussion at the department about keeping the Mueller report from going to Congress?
No, we, in fact, we're continuing to follow the special counsel regulations as it relates to the report. And we haven't received the report.
Has there been a draft opinion about keeping it from going to Congress?
You know, Congressman, I'm not going to talk about the kind of ongoing investigation that is the special counsel. I will share with you that
Mr. Whitaker, did Donald Trump ask you if you would recuse before you became acting attorney general? If that question came up, did he ask you what you would do?
Congressman, I've already answered that question in my opening statement.
Do you believe Attorney General Sessions should have recused?
As I mentioned in my answers previously, the recusal decision...
No, do you believe, yes or no, that he should have recused?
I actually, as I sit here today, I do not have an opinion. I believe he determined it was the right decision for him to make, and so I agree that he made the right decision for him.
Have there been any discussions at the department about pardons for Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, or Michael Cohen?
Congressman, we have a very well-worn system.
That the president doesn't follow, but have there been discussions about pardons for those individuals that you're aware of, yes or no?
Congressman, as I've been acting Attorney General, I have not been involved in any discussions of any pardons, even and including the ones you're discussing.
You made a public statement last week that the investigation was nearly complete. Is that your characterization or is that Bob Mueller's characterization?
Congressman, that position that I mentioned last week in a press conference was my position as acting Attorney General.
Would Bob Mueller, if sitting before us right now, agree with you?
You know, Congressman, Bob Mueller is going to finish his investigation when he wants to finish his investigation.
Is Mr. Mueller honest?
Congressman, I have been on the record about my respect for Bob Mueller and his ability to conduct this investigation.
Do you believe he's honest, yes or no?
I have no reason to believe he's not honest, so yes, I do believe he's honest.
Do you believe he's conflicted, yes or no?
Congressman, as I mentioned regarding recusals, you know, sort of the conflict analysis is for the individual lawyer to make once a matter is before them. And I'm sure that whether it's Bob Mueller, whether it's Rod Rosenstein,
But the president
or
has
anybody
called
else
him
at the Department of
conflicted.
Justice,
The
they
president's
would do
called
it.
him conflicted and you oversee the investigation. Do you believe that Mr. Mueller is conflicted?
Congressman, as acting Attorney General, I have followed regular order at the Department of Justice, and I have expected that the lawyers and support staff and agents that work for me follow regular order, and as I sit here today, I don't have any reason to believe that.
So you don't believe you believe he's honest, you don't believe he's conflicted. Can you say right now, Mr. President, Bob Mueller is honest and not conflicted?
Congressman, I'm not a puppet to repeat what you're saying.
Are you able to say it, or do you not believe it?
I have answered your question as to what I believe about the special counsel. I stand by my prior statement.
Can you say it to the president, though?
Congressman, I am not here to be a puppet to repeat terms and words that you say that I should say.
Can you say that to the president?
Regular order.
Mr. Chair, he hasn't answered that question.
Sorry?
He has not answered the question if he would say that Mr. Mueller is honest.
The time
not
of the gentleman
conflicted
has
to the president.
expired. The witness may answer the question.
I don't have anything further to add. I think I've answered the Congressman's question.
That's a